welcome to Fresh Thinking by Snowden Optera. I'm Vincent Agnello. I'm a principal consultant in the Joburg office, and today I'm joined by Shepherd Kadzviti, Head of Advisory EMEA, also in the Joburg office. Welcome, Shepherd, to this podcast.
Thank you very much, Vince.
So today we're going to talk about key aspects of mineral resource and mineral reserve reporting for Joburg Stock Exchange listed companies. Why are you qualified to talk about this, Shepherd?
I have 34 years working experience. I have worked as a geologist in exploration, mining, mineral resource estimation, and mineral resource management. I have experience in working on different commodities: gold, manganese, iron ore, platinum group metals, chrome, nickel, as well as copper. I have been a competent person for a mining company which is listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and I have reported to the JSE their annual mineral resources and mineral reserve reports for 10 years. I am registered with SACNESP. I'm registered also with the Geological Society of South Africa as a fellow, and I'm also a member of the Southern African Institute of Mining and Metallurgy.
So, Shepherd, can you tell me, at a high level, what is public reporting of mineral resources and reserves for a JSE-listed mining company?
Here we're talking about the annual reporting of mineral resources and mineral reserves in compliance with the requirements of the JSE, and specifically their section 12.13. which specifies the disclosure items that have to be in the reports.
So tell me about section 12.13. What does that require?
Section 12.13 is a section which has to be compliant to in terms of mineral resources and mineral reserves, and it's in addition to the reporting, to the financial reporting that's done by these mining companies on an annual basis. So that section 12.13 has got the details of things that need to be reported on with regards to mineral resources and mineral reserves on an annual basis.
So what is required to comply with these reporting requirements?
What is required is that the mineral resource and the reserve report have to cover all the items, all the disclosure items that are in section 12.13. From my experience, it is best that you actually have a checklist referenced by page number of those disclosure items to make sure that you cover all of them, because the requirement is that you must cover all the disclosure items.
What else must one comply to in the reporting?
The reporting of the mineral resources and mineral reserves must comply to the summary code, and the edition that's relevant for this reporting is the code of 2016. The summary code stands for the South African Code for Reporting of Exploration Results, Mineral Resources and Mineral Reserves.
So, Shepherd, let's get into the details of the annual mineral resource and mineral reserve reporting for these JSE companies. What are the mining companies expected to report on?
Mining companies are expected to cover, I'll start off with some of the key aspects. It's attributable interest in those mineral resources and mineral reserves. Is it 100% if it's just that one mining company, or it's a portion of that if it's a joint venture or associate company? So that's quite important, and it's very specific in section 12.13. The other thing that is also important is that the competent person, or the lead competent person, if I might put it that way, address, qualifications, and experience must be stated. And the professional bodies to which that person belongs is also very important. In addition, it is important that the information about the professional body is also indicated in terms of address and in terms of what sort of level of registration it is. It's very important for that to be specified as well.
So, Shepherd, what are the brief summaries that are required in the report?
So there are a number of things that one needs to cover in the mineral resource and mineral reserve report. And I'll just touch on some of the key ones. Exploration results, exploration activities, as well as, and importantly, exploration expenditure must be specified. The geological setting must be specified, must go into the details of the geology, and give brief summaries of that. The type of mining and mining activities, is it on pen pit, underground, and any important mining activities that occurred in that year must be highlighted as well. Production figures must be reported on, and there must also be a comparison for the previous year as well. So those are the main things that need to be covered in terms of some of the brief summaries that must be given in these reports.
Sure, Shepherd, that's quite a list. Are there any further details required in the report?
Yes, Vince. It's very important to indicate in the report legal entitlement that you have on the mineral resources and mineral reserves that you are reporting on. That's quite important. The estimated mineral resources and mineral reserves must be stated in table form, and there must also be a comparison with the previous year. That's quite important. If there have been any feasibility studies or pre-feasibility studies that have been undertaken in the year, those must also be indicated. Has inferred resources been included, in the feasibility studies? If it has been, it's very important that that is reported on, and what the impact is as well. That's something that needs to be in the report. Are there any legal proceedings that may affect ongoing mining or exploration? That needs to be reported on as well. So those are some of the details that need to be included. In addition to that, it's important to include appropriate maps and plans for the resources and the reserves that are being reported on. Those are important to include in the report. And finally, a summary of the environmental management that is being done by the mining company and the funding that is associated with that as well.
Are there any supporting documents for this report?
Yes, mining companies are expected to retain competent persons reports. Those are detailed reports of the mineral resources and mineral reserves. Those reports should be available to the JSE if required. So those competent persons reports must be available to support the report that's given on an annual basis to the JSE.
What happens to the report once it has been submitted to the JSE?
So once it has been submitted to the JSE and accepted, they will then have it available for publication. So mining companies are then able to post them on their websites. They are also able to print hard copies, which they can distribute to shareholders and the general public.
What mechanism does the JSE have to verify compliance of these reports to the requirements?
JSE established a readers panel, which actually does reviews of the mineral resource and mineral reserve reports. And that readers panel is a team of experts that have been selected by the JSE to review reports for compliance with the summary code and the section 12.13.
Are mining companies given feedback on this verification process?
Yes, feedback is provided for those reports that would have been reviewed that year. There will be letters sent to the mining companies on the compliance to section 12.13 as well as the summary code. The JSE will communicate to the mining companies, indicating compliance and also giving suggestions for improvement of those annual reports.
So, Shepherd, what can mining companies do to ensure that they comply?
Companies must just make sure that in their writing up of the mineral resource and reserve report, they comply to those disclosure items. Make sure you cover all the disclosure items. In addition to that, you need also to do internal reviews. You have your internal experts review the reports. It's best practice to also do external reviews of the reports so that you are well covered in terms of the summary requirements and in terms of the section 12.13 requirements.
Shepherd, this draws our podcast to a close. Thank you for joining us on Fresh Thinking and for discussing with us JSE compliance, especially with regards public reporting of mineral resources and mineral reserves for JSE mining listed companies.
Thank you.
If you'd like to listen to our Fresh Thinking by Snowden Optero podcasts, you can find these on our website, Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and most other podcast platforms. Furthermore, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel where you'll be kept up to date with all our technical podcasts. Thank you.